All right, I'm Ron Wookie, a cybersecurity quarterback, and today's presentation is all about AI and cyber vulnerabilities. So there's not a lot of information out there about this kind of stuff because there is no OWASP top 10 for AI, right? So what we're doing is trying to figure these things out right now in real time, different vulnerabilities. So these are the things that I have, these are the things I came up with, and I hope that you can get something out of it. And check back with me in a month or so because these things may change or I may have additional ones that are now a little bit more priority. But let's go ahead and get into it. A growing threat of AI and cybersecurity. This is what it's all about. So there are different types of cybersecurity, right? But in this case, we're talking about specifically AI. So what is AI? You hear a lot about machine learning, ML. You're going to see that. You're going to hear LLM, large language models. You're going to hear deep learning, natural language processing. So when you're using some of the apps like OpenChat, and it can talk to you in such a way that it seems as though like it's giving you the answers in a pleasant conversation. That's the natural language processing, the NLP. The way the data is learned by the system is ML, machine learning. And deep learning is basically when you're connecting a large amounts of data together, right? That's deep learning because it's not just on the surface, it's a little bit more levels to that, right? So that's deep learning. And there's more, like I mentioned, LLMs. And you can put a cluster of LLMs. LLMs are large language models. And basically, it's just there are like really five major players in that, and they pretty much have all the world's data in their bank, their database, in their data bank, in their knowledge base, and that's what you're pulling from when you ask a question. It most of them basically have the same information, and this is new. I'm giving you new stuff. I'm telling you these things, but you have to know that because now there's some common AI attack vectors with all of these, right? So let's go through about my top eight, I believe. I don't think I'm doing a top 10 because OWASP has that, right? So this is Ron's top eight at eight common AI attack vectors. So let's just go through each one of these. Data poisoning, introducing corrupted or malicious data into the training data set. So there's a data set, there's information, and you're pulling in information and data to train your model, right? To train the system. So if that data is bad, garbage in, garbage out. So if you put in malicious data, it's going to give you malicious answers or perform a malicious function or do something that it is not supposed to be doing. So in the CIA, that's integrity, confidentiality, integrity, availability. That's the integrity of the AI system. The CIA is the framework, it's the bedrock, it's the cornerstone of cybersecurity. All right, let's go to model extraction attacks, stealing the model's internal parameters or knowledge. So once you have a model and you put the information in there about whatever it is that your expertise is or whatever these the data that's training the system, stealing that information, right? Taking that information. That's the confidentiality in the CIA of it. So that's an attack. And you can read these for yourself. Adversarial machine learning. So that's when you manipulate the data, the input data. So however you input that data to cause the model to break, right? So let's say it's not supposed to give you a particular type of answer because it's deemed not ethical, like how to create, poisoning in water or something. And it won't do that, but you ask it in such a way, you input the way you input the question and the data, you slowly get there. Let's say you ask it 100 questions, and then finally you can piece together how to do something. So that's adversarial machine learning. Evasion attacks, tricking the model into misclassifying the data, the malicious input. So let's say that same type of example, you trick it into thinking, okay, it's okay to put this information because, I may say I'm an auditor or something of that nature, and so how do I audit against this type of thing? And maybe you trick it into giving you that type of information. So adversarial machine learning attacks. So let's get a little bit more deep into that. Data manipulation. So you can add small imperceptible changes to input data to mislead the model. So just little things. It's not all in one fell swoop. You just add a little bit of data here, a little bit of data there, and you manipulate it. Uh, Model evasion, crafting malicious inputs. This is kind of like what I mentioned previous, that bypass the model security measures. Model poisoning, compromising the model's training data to introduce vulnerabilities. Right. So these are brand new. These are things we're thinking about, and you want to make sure that your AI knowledge base is safe. So, data poisoning attacks. Let's dive into this one a little bit. Attackers introduce malicious data into the training data set. Again, if you can input data into it, and a lot of these functions, there's an input field. So, in some ways, you can put data in to manipulate the system. So let's say I type my name, like I tell it my name is John Doe. So then it's going to reach back and say, hello, John Doe. My name is not John Doe. So anyway, that's like an example. I mean, that's a bad example, but you get the gist. The model learns from the corrupted data and becomes vulnerable to attacks. Attackers can cause the model to misclassify inputs or make incorrect predictions, kind of like what I just mentioned. So model extraction techniques, query access. So, you always want to protect the confidentiality of data, whether it's AI or any type of database or anything, right? So model extraction attacks fall in line with the confidentiality aspect of the CIA. So query access, attacker sends queries, that's that input field to the model, and observes its responses. So you're going to get a response. So you just kind of learn how it gives you response, and then you change your approach. Model approximation, attacker builds a replica of the model based on the responses. Ooh, so now we're getting a little deeper. Model theft, attacker gains access to the model's internal parameters or knowledge. So if you have an enterprise and you have your proprietary knowledge, and so you have your knowledge base, an attacker can come in, attack the system using certain parameters, right, and gains access to the knowledge base, right? Then they can take that information out. So what I'll tell you as well is that I mentioned to you like there are like 5 or 6 major players. They all pretty much are close in line with the information that it has about the world. Like every single thing you could possibly put in these things, they have them. But what they don't have is proprietary information. So that's what makes this so important, because now your enterprise or even you as a person is not in there unless you put it in there, right? So now you have your own knowledge base. You're using this LLM privately on your own systems or your own servers or in your own environment. And you may even cluster these LLMs together. But there is your information, your knowledge base now, because it has your proprietary information. So now if someone wants to come in and get your information, they're going to go to that knowledge base because now it has all of your information. So before it was, in a regular database somewhere, SQL database or something. So they would, do SQL injections and all of these type of things. Now they're doing something similar, but to get to your knowledge base, right? So anyway, I spent way too much time on that. I'm trying to make you a quick video just introducing you to these things. We're going to dive into more of these things over the next couple of weeks. Now, how do you defend against it? Well, in cybersecurity, there's some major things that we always do, right? And this is no different. So protect training data from unauthorized access, right? So access control, who has access to it? How do you maintain that access? How do you audit that, right? Model robustness, developing models that are less susceptible to adversarial attacks, of course, right? So how do you do that? That's what we got to continue to figure out and keep learning on. And there are some good products that help with some of this. And I don't push products on my channel, but there are some good ones. And so as I test them out, I'll let you know. Threat intelligence, monitoring and identifying potential threats to the AI system. Again, there are some good products out there that you can put into your environment that can help with that. And number 4, auditing and monitoring. And these things are very important. You have to do this whether you're using AI systems or not, but you definitely need to monitor the network, monitor your systems, monitor your environment, and audit against your known baselines. Right? You have to continue to do these type things. So the conclusion and takeaways: AI's security is critical. It is more critical now because If you're using it and your competition is not, you have an advantage. Anyone that's using AI has an advantage over those that don't. So countries, nation states that are using it properly and the most will have an advantage over those that don't. So security of this AI technology and the knowledge base and the data sets and the training models, the LLMs, they are very important and very critical. So security to these items are very critical. Proactive measures are essential. Organizations must take steps to protect their AI systems from attacks and collaboration. In order for us to grow and to stay number one, you have to collaborate. That's why there's so many type of open source items. I didn't go to school for this. I'm learning on the fly, just like you all. So it's important that we collaborate and continue to build each other up and learn and make videos like this and continue to teach one another and learn all of these different things because sharing knowledge and best practices is crucial to address AI security challenges. All right, that's it. I am your favorite cybersecurity quarterback, Ron Wilkie. It has been a pleasure. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them in the chat. If you have any additional information, put them in the chat. All right.